So yesterday we talked about not giving from a place of abundance. Yesterday we talked about what happens when you just let it fall apart. This facade that you've been holding up, the mask that you've had on to prevent people from getting close to you, the way that you create distance. It's really, really easy to keep those things up. But at some point in your life, eventually it doesn't become easy, it becomes incredibly difficult. That's when you let it fall apart, right? If I'm talking to who I think I'm talking to, you are a chronic people pleaser, recovering. You're used to being in service of other people, but oftentimes as a way to keep you from having to be in service to yourself. You want to do good, you want to help people, but you don't realize the way that you're going to help people the deepest, the most, the best is by helping yourself. Learning to heal yourself, learning to be with yourself, learning to be an example first. And so let's talk about this next part, right? When you let it fall apart, when you let it crumble, there are going to be some pieces that you want to pick up. There are going to be some pieces that you need to pick up. But what happens when you pick up broken glass and you're not careful? You cut yourself. You have to, in your letting it fall apart, in your letting the mask fall, you have to then prepare to see, when you pick up these pieces of glass, some parts of yourself that you really don't like. That might be overgiving. It might be self-betrayal. It might be really, really wanting to be liked. It might be serving people in a way that you actually want to be held or comforted or soothed in relationships. It might be not knowing how to ask for help to your detriment and to the detriment of others. It might be you recognize your ego in this. It might be seeing that you got really comfortable. You allowed yourself to find comfort in your harm. That's hard. But the next step of this, the next part of this, isn't just to pick up the pieces haphazardly, isn't about, oh, let's just hurry up and get to the next step. The next piece of this is realizing your own culpability and how you got here. That's hard. And I'm holding your hand with that because I'm doing the same thing. I'm recognizing the ways in which, can I get too mad at the way people treated me when I confirmed to them through my actions and through my words that it's okay to treat me that way? Can I see my shortcomings in my need to please people, but not really be real with how I'm feeling with them and their confusion? Because a lot of times when people talk about like, oh, you finally set boundaries with people and people start to, and the ones who give you like an attitude or the ones who have a problem with you, they're all bad people. And oftentimes they're not. Sometimes they're just confused. The people who love you, they just want to know like, hey, what's going on? People who don't will probably give you hell for it. But also like for the people who are confused, it doesn't make them wrong. But it does require a certain level of introspection that can be really freaking painful because it's hard to see the way that we have allowed ourselves to be treated. And it's hard to see the way that to take the accountability, not in a punitive way, in a, what's the word I'm looking for, just with the C, not cumulative, not circumstantial, in a comprehensive way. There it is. In a comprehensive way, it can be really hard to see the accountability we need to take in a really comprehensive way. I'm convinced that's the reason a lot of people don't want to grow, because they're growing pains. It sucks. It doesn't feel, letting the mask slip, letting it crumble, letting it fall sucks. It's scary. And then the second piece of that is looking in those pieces of glass and seeing your own reflection and realizing you don't like what's there. And that you had a part in what is there. And that's not blame, that's not fault, that's responsibility, right? To move forward in this next phase of your life, to bring in the things that you really want to be, the things that you really want to experience, the way that you want to communicate, to bring those things in, you have to take stock of what was and what is. That's hard. And most people won't tell you. Most people will tell you like, oh girl, go ahead and change. They'll make it really like cute. This is hard. Healing is not for the weak. It is not. It is hard. You are an incredibly strong person for wanting to do this. Like, seriously, I am so proud of you. If you're watching any bit of this, not for watching it, but for like, if this is resonating and relating to where you are right now, shout out to you. It's hard to take responsibility for your peace in the matter. It's hard to take responsibility for your life. And if you are tired of the way it was and you want, but you're like in between the way it was and the way you want it to be, sitting in the discomfort of your own accountability and your own responsibility, again, not in a punitive way, because guilt and shame are not sustainable motivators. You just feel bad. Shame just creates more shame. And honestly, I feel like guilt is just like not great at getting you to an action. It feels really, really uncomfortable. We can take ownership, especially when we have done something wrong, but continuing to guilt yourself doesn't really make you act on improving the thing. It just makes you feel bad. Again, shame creates more shame, guilt creates more guilt, but it doesn't necessarily create improved action. So you're letting the thing fall. Now you're in the space of, okay, let's look in this mirror. Let's see ourselves for real, for real. Let's see that reflection. Let's see the parts of ourselves that we thought we could keep hidden. Let's see the parts of ourselves that enjoyed our misery. Let's see the parts of ourselves that enjoyed playing that part that no longer serves us. Let's see the parts of ourselves, those shadows, right, of ourselves that got accustomed to pain. That hurts. And you're doing an incredible job of even wanting to go there, because I know, especially when you're a chronic people pleaser, avoiding that reflection is the strongest thing, the strongest motivator is the avoidance of being with yourself, the avoidance of answering some of those bigger questions, the avoidance of, is this really what I want? Is this really what I want to be doing with my life? Is this really how I want to show up in my relationships? The avoidance of having to tell people what you really, really need. The avoidance of being vulnerable. The avoidance of being honest. It's hard. It's hard. So kudos to you for taking up that mantle and looking anyways. Please pick up these pieces gently. Do what you can to, in this metaphor, protect your hands when you pick up these pieces. But also, I feel like a lot of folks will do the 180 when it comes to changes and talk about their past selves with such disdain, which proves to me that like the healing didn't really happen. Hold yourself gently still. Look at those edges, look at those shadows, look at those uncomfortable parts of yourself to see, and hold it with some compassion. If I'm talking to who I'm talking to, if it was a friend who'd done something wrong, if it was someone you cared and loved about, you would grant them grace. Grant yourself some as well, friend. You're trying your best, and your best will continue to improve as you continue to grow. Maybe your best a while ago wasn't it, right? But that was what it was. Does that make sense? I could probably phrase that better. Your best a while ago was the best you could do at that time. Now you're in a different time, and you can do even better than that. So understanding where that lies, understanding what that is, understanding and giving yourself the grace enough to understand, like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. I promise you, it's okay. Neighbor's being really loud, sorry. It's okay. It's okay. It's hard to see yourself. It's hard to recognize your responsibility in these matters. It's hard to take ownership of how you want to be moving forward and take ownership of how you want to be treated, right? Because a lot of conversations online are around like, I need to set boundaries. We're all kind of using therapy speak in some productive and sometimes really negative ways, right? But nobody really wants to talk about the uncomfortable part of growing, where you have to say, like, yeah, it's cute to make these boundaries on paper, but when it's time to communicate them, when it's time for you to go back and look at some relationships that, for me especially, I'll give an example. I looked at relationships that I prioritized that were not healthy. But because like so many of the triggers that I'm used to were innate to those relationships, I prioritized them. I knew they were going to hit the certain things that they were going to hit almost on a subconscious level and make me feel bad. And I was used to making myself feel bad. But the healthier relationships, and I mean friendships here, but it applies to all relationships, but the healthier connections were the ones I did a lot of avoidance in, and have even now work to do in not just apologizing but making amends, right? All of these conversations are things I'm saying to myself as much as I'm saying to you. I have a little perspective that I'm trying to share, but they all fall under our ability to rest. Being in rest, allowing a state of rest, is allowing yourself to be at peace. Where are you? Are your relationships restful? Is your life restful? And oftentimes when we find that they're not, it's easy to look at the factors, the very real factors and circumstances that impact it on a larger level, right? Capitalism. We got bills to pay. We got work, right? Systemic oppression. Like these are all valid things that impact it. But when we look at the things that we do have some measure of control over, the way we communicate, the way we connect and attach with people, what we have been told we can expect, maybe based on the way that we look or the way that we were raised. When we look at all these factors, you do start to see your space of ownership. And it's really freaking hard to heal. I really just wanted to say that to you. It's hard to heal, and if it feels like you've been in it for a minute, didn't mean to rhyme. If it feels like you've been in it for a minute, if it feels like you're like fighting for your life, continue to fight for your life, because it's the life that you deserve. We're going to get through this. Handle those pieces of broken glass gently. Be willing, not just ready, but be willing to see your own reflection. And trust in yourself enough and the people that really love you if you got them, that you will even if it's uncomfortable because it's confronting, you will move through this. You will get to the other side of this, to the life that you want. Thank you for your time. I hope this little pep talk, this little rest talk, was helpful for you, and I'll see you tomorrow.